ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new stream. Today we're gonna start with something new. We're gonna start a new painting. Well, we're gonna start 6 paintings at the same time. Um, so yeah, I don't think we don't want to hang into the introduction for too long. I'm gonna paint. I'm still not sure. I still have a where is it? Somewhere here. This is it. I could choose. I can either do this one here down here, or I can start an entire new painting. But as said, we would do this. So I'm not sure. I kind of want to start. No, we're not gonna save that. We said we would do 2 of these in sort of the series. So yeah, I guess I want to continue with that. I should have figured this out before I started streaming. The thing is, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do 6 thumbnails. We're gonna just paint those, and that's gonna be it for today. But then I thought, yeah, I was supposed to do this one. Thing is, I find this one too generic. As in, I've seen other people do it, and it's sort of inspired on a piece that that I saw Feng Zhu do at one point. It's a long time ago, but still, I can't help but to think, yeah, it's basically the same piece, and I don't really want that. It feels like copying someone's work. So instead of that, can't go with this one. Oh, apparently with not saving, I saved. I did some brush practice. But yeah, I want to do a sort of a series of paintings that all sort of are set in the same story. So I thought, you know what, let's do some paintings for the book that I'm well, the book series actually I'm writing with my sister. It's a fantasy series, and I'm not gonna tell you really that much about it. So no spoilers there. But there are some scenes in the book, very early in the book, the first chapter. The protagonist, I probably think I can call it. There's not much happening yet. This is going. It's basically a real simple scene. This is going to the bakery with well, not really his step brother, but the foster brother. That's the probably the right term. Yes, he's in a foster family. Her the protagonist is female. But she's going to the bakery in this fantasy town because they want to have some corn or maize cookies. And they go en route through various parts of the town. So we kind of want to do a sort of an exterior of a medieval bakery and an interior when they are there. Sort of some scenes in the route they're taking. The thing I do this, the reason why I do this is because I tend to sort of focus on things like I need to do a ship or a certain landscape, and it's really easy to sort of fall into a trap where you reproduce someone else's art because when you're into art, you look at a lot of artworks and see all the cool stuff and things like that. And then it's really easy to almost copy other people, if you know what I mean. And to prevent that, I thought, you know what, let's do something that is definitely not copying someone else's work, because we made up that story on our own, so no one else has access to that yet. So that way, I can make sure that it is unique. So, let's see. I want to open this. I want to. I have the text. Yeah. So they basically go from home and they go through the merchant section of the city, and so yeah. Let's without further ado, let's just slap on some color. And I want to approach this a little bit differently. I found this wet edge button. It's really funny. Not funny, it's really cool, because now you can simulate a wet edge on your brush. Wait, if I do this is probably quite a nice brush. Photoshop is really slow with these brushes, by the way. What's the size? It's 4,000 pixels wide. Yeah, it's not that big, but for some reason, Photoshop doesn't like me very much. But yeah, the wet edge really gives a watercolor look to it, and I kind of like it. That's maybe a little bit too big, but as you can see, I'm not really focusing too much. I want to put down some color to get a mood. The problem is my Photoshop is really slow. Let's see, it's quite slow. So let's open. I'm still haven't figured out why it does that. Why it's so slow, or why. Seems to be that my I don't know, my graphics card goes straight up to, let's say, about 40% when I use the brush. My RAM is sort of is capped at 7.8 gigabyte. Well, there is a lot of headroom there. Still 8 gigabytes of headroom. So doesn't seem to be RAM, because as far as I know, Photoshop has access to sort of all the RAM at once. I think I like this color. I'm still not kind of not really sure what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of I probably should approach these more individual, but I kind of want to have a basic color sort of set on each and every one of them that we can sort of color pick from later. So and we probably want to start getting in some basic compositions later with the with what we're doing here. Problem is the brush really makes it quite hard for us. I could change my render settings in set it to faster. And it uses, apparently it uses less CPU for that. Problem is, I don't know, it doesn't seem like I'm CPU limited because there is still room for it to go. It uses all 4 cores, all 8 threads. So that's good. At least Photoshop is accessing all my entirety of my my threads. Problem is, it's stuck at 60% and my graphics card is stuck at 40%. But I think it's CPU. So there are probably a couple of things I can do. I could try to overclock my CPU, but I don't think it would help that much because it's not accessing 100% CPU. It's not thermal throttling or anything because fans aren't at peak. It's not my fans aren't spinning that much, but I know that it is really annoying. And when I'm not using, when I'm not painting, excuse me for the noise by the way, the windows are all open because it was a very hot day yesterday and today is a nice cool day, so I opened the windows to cool down the room a little bit. That Photoshop use the ideal range. I use a little bit more than my ideal range. Cache levels. Number of cache levels of image data used to improve screen redraw and histogram speed. Cache levels for bigger documents with few layers, or fewer cache levels, smaller documents with many layers. Changes will take effect. Let's say, let's double this, because we have a. We can only go to 8 cache levels. File handling. GL drawing. Yes, it's mainly to get some nice smooth edges. For instance, when you don't enable OpenGL drawing, your image doesn't look that great at certain zoom levels. The sort of the odd zoom levels, so 33% zoom, you'd get these strange sort of artifacts. With this enabled, you get a nice file. But yeah, is there any other way to, let's try to go, because now I get, this is screen capture, right? Yes. If I go to not the screen, but window capture. Let's rename it. I'm sorry for all the hassle. But I'm trying to sort of. There is still lag, but I don't know whether it's better or not. I kind of need to figure out what is causing this lag. I know it has to do with the big brush and stuff like that. But the thing that bothers me is that even though I still have headroom in my CPU, it is not using that headroom for some reason. And that's really annoying. I want to know why that is. And we'll do some research on that off stream, of course. Because we want a seamless experience here. We want to be able to stream and sort of give you guys a good watching experience. So yeah, let's try to sort of minimize the. I think texture is the one that slows the brush down the most. So yeah, that's definitely helping. Let's get rid of the texture in the brush and try to go without it. Because now we have a faster brush, and that really helps. All right, so we got this weird fill stuff. The image are filled with these weird colors, and we definitely need some more colors. Can I add my swatches somewhere else? Why doesn't this window sort of somewhat size? Let's put it down here. Ah, no, you can't see it, of course, because I'm capturing the window now for Photoshop. So just a window where I'm working on. So instead of the entire screen. But now I have this little window with my swatches. I'm still not sure what I'm doing. I kind of want to let this one flow from sort of the beginning. Start right with straight with painting rather than with line drawings, because I want a lot of color and color variance and stuff like that. Just to hopefully make everything look a little bit more interesting. So I think we want this nice clear blue sky, definitely. And then I have some. I googled some medieval houses. Let's see. No, I don't. I want. So yeah, we're gonna go with some stuff from Google. Gonna use some reference, but we're gonna give it our own twist. So I want to start this really rough and really refine this from the beginning. Really start with a rough painting, and see where it brings me, because we did a line drawing for a few and with a lot of textures and stuff like that. I don't want to bring in any textures for these ones. I just want to paint. I really want this to be really painted from the ground up, so that so in that way we really get sort of the full experience. I kind of want to put this window here. There we go. So yeah. Anything else I wanted to say? Yeah, I want some blues in here as well. Try to sort of introduce different colors here, and it's gonna look rather sad for the first few minutes probably, but hopefully we can change that later. So I'm sort of loosely following a an image from Google Image Search, but just to have sort of something there, so I don't really have to go entirely from my head. I'm gonna try to do all 6 of them. We're planning for 2 hours of stream time here, so the goal is to do 6 of them in the 2 hours, and they're probably gonna be quite rough. So it's probably gonna be housing in the background as well, so keep that in mind. So yeah, where was I? I don't know. I'm sort of lost here. So yeah, this is gonna be purely painting for 2 hours straight, and I'm gonna try to come up with 6 different sort of paintings, or yeah, sort of in the same. And the first scene they sort of walk through is the commercial district where all the trades are happening. So the people there are have money and some more than others, of course, but it's not necessarily a poor neighborhood. Kind of want to add some add the perspective in here. And we're gonna take our time, so it's gonna take a while before everything looks decent. I kind of want to add more color. Maybe I want the roofs to be red. And I want to do more with the blue. So maybe we do the blue for the roofs and more red stuff on the street. Now the street is this blue, and I don't really want that. It's all really vague currently, but at least we have sort of a point to start from, and that's what's really important here. I think we want to separate this front house a little bit more from the back. Gonna try a different brush. Go with wet edges here as well. I quite like that setting. That's maybe a little bit too much, but let's grab a somewhat smaller brush and try to bring in some detail. Let's put it at 80. I've got to work the entire week on these 6 paintings. I'm not sure if I'm gonna all make them all really nice and finished, but for today we're gonna try to create sort of 6 basic paintings, and from there we will pick 2 or 3, and we will finish the 3 of them. Try to bring them to a somewhat decent level. Some wood, and we don't want to go too much into to the finished details yet for this one, because we still have the other 6 to do. So we kind of want to have a setup for all of them after today. So we still have 1.5 hours, so that's 90 minutes. So that's about 15 minutes each, right? Am I right? Yeah. If we count this one, so, but we already spent like 5 or 10 minutes on this one, I guess. Need to control my buttons better. Kind of like the wet edge thing. The more painterly look. Why it is there, of course, but. So I'm still kind of following the image that I have on the image search on Google, but not entirely. I will add my own elements to it as well. So a little these little sort of things here and there where they where there are different type of goods. Maybe this is a sort of a grocery. I don't know. We definitely want some greens in here as well, just to have sort of a whole color palette. Maybe there is some plants and stuff like that. Just to make it a little bit more interesting. Brush is still a little bit laggy, but it's doable. Well, it's better than it was before, but it's mainly because I'm using smaller brushes now rather than the real big one. I probably should sort of do the big filling sort of setup before we start the stream, because it will probably help, and it's not really something that is really interesting. It's usually quite random. Well, I don't usually do it, but this time I did it, and it's very random. So we have this red here. I kind of want to keep that. I want to strengthen that. Want to have some more red stuff here and there. And I definitely want to have some sort of a way here for them to down the goods. Little door here. So this is quite different from the method we usually take. But I think it's good to if you really want to improve, we need to do different methods and learn different techniques, and then pick the one that we sort of like the most in the end, or could probably keep varying them up. But if you keep doing the same thing, at a certain point you just don't learn from it anymore. So in order to learn new stuff, we decided to just go with paint from the very beginning. So a little bit of texture to the roof. Of course, we could do we could just find the texture online and use that, but we want to paint this one, so I'm gonna do that. So finally, it's starting to look like something. At least we can now see what's going on. We probably want people here, and if you watched me before, you know that I'm terrible at drawing people, but I also learned that when you do it and it sort of starts to work out, it's sort of the best feeling ever. So I'm gonna try to do it anyway. I kind of want to move this bottom bit back a little bit. Here. Have a shadow. So yeah, it looks a little bit like a watercolor. I quite like it. Probably have to do something with the background. And we can of course things around and try different things in different places. That's the power of Photoshop. Uh, I really like sort of all these layered roofs, so we'll probably try to get in some more of them. A little bit more maybe. Just overdo it slightly, just to make it interesting. And the background, yeah, let's not worry too much about the background yet. So that's a first little scene. Um, let's see where they walk. Uh, they also walk to the harbor. So we kind of want to have something like a medieval harbor. Problem is when you search for medieval armor, you get all these game harbor type things. That's not necessarily what we want. Um, probably do with this. So let's go back to our big brush and start the harbor. So of course there's going to be a ship in the harbor. I think we're gonna go for a view from the sort of from the water to the and you look inland. It's a little interesting view, hopefully. And you have these big buildings in medieval harbors that are sort of the cranes that they use for extracting goods from the ships. That's definitely something that we can use. There's probably quite a lot of color going on there with the various ships, and could be some ships back there as well. Just gonna try to make it nice and loose. I think I stiffened up a little bit too much with the first one, but you always sort of need to get going somehow. So I think needed that one to sort of get going. Now we're going. To 60% now. And we can color pick from the one at the top there. You can say, you know what, there's a big castle in the background, who knows what it is. We can make whatever we want. It's a cool thing about art. Yeah, get to decide what is what and swear and stuff like that. I don't want to have some yellows in there. I'm not sure how that's gonna happen, but maybe just throw them in there. Just like this. Now they're there. Kinda cool how that happens. Probably some yellows in the sky for the clouds. I probably should check at which time I start each and every one of these, because then I can sort of try to keep them in to make sure that they're not taking too long. Kind of want to have a boat here. And we want to have more boats back here. Boat here as well. By doing it like this, I can sort of work on the boat without distracting the background. Pick the colors and do whatever I want with them. If I want them to be more blue, I can make them more blue. If I want them to be brownish, I can make them more brownish. I think I want some blues in there, especially in the shadows. Just trying to sort of figure out the way to go here. And just picking the color. A little bit of reflection there. To make sure that the water is okay. Water is quite difficult. I find it quite difficult to paint. All the reflection and stuff like that, and it's quite light, but not quite as light as you'd think, and like that. It's a real hassle. All right, it's probably time to grab the somewhat smaller brush and start getting in there for the details. We sort of have an overall thing now. Um, Now it's time to shape everything and create the forms that we want. Probably quite good for a mast. Probably could be a little bit higher. And things like ropes and stuff, we're not gonna bother with that yet. If we want to make this, if we want to finish this, let's see if I want to do that. Like that, yeah, there we go. If we want to work on this one and really make this detailed, then we will work on the all the ropes and stuff like that. Maybe these ships have sort of colors. Probably do. They're also tied to the shore somehow. Not sure if I want to keep this one here up front. But we'll see. Now I'm gonna try to work on a tower a little bit, because it's quite an important part of a harbor, a way to get goods out of the ships. A little bit of a modified version of a real one. It's a little bit different. Don't have too much time anymore for this one, I guess. We're gonna try to make it acceptable. I wanna have a orange roof here, so that's gonna happen. Tiled roof. And quite an overhang there, but maybe a little bit too much. See, we can always change that later if you really want to. Probably some reflection, something from the water on the ship as well. All right, let's try to sort of get this castle going. 70%, and just try to work a little bit around the mast there. Of course, we can always redraw the mast, so we shouldn't be too worried about painting over it or whatever, stuff like that. Grab a slightly bigger brush, because it's quite far in the background, not very detailed. These little houses here in the front, we need to worry about those, because that's sort of really the thing here that we need to focus on, is sort of the harbor itself. A lot of browns. I want to change that up a little bit, but not sure how yet. Probably should pick a bit of color from the one at the top. Shouldn't be too worried about doing it perfectly right now. I think we can keep this one a little bit rougher than the top one. I'm stiffening up, and that's never really a good thing. I'm gonna save this just as a new brush so that I can immediately pick it. The problem is when you sort of stiffen up, the creativity sort of just goes away for some reason, and the workflow just bogs up, and you bog down and bog up or bog down. You bog down. I don't know. But it doesn't really work. So yeah, I think I'm gonna quit this one for now and move on to the next one. This definitely can use a little bit more color, a little bit of reds here and there. Just gonna put them in. Not necessarily in the right place, but just to have them there, and later on we can always come back and from those. I really think I want the reds here down here as well. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna quickly work on the next one. Kind of want to do another harvest scene because it feels like a quite sort of a quite an important thing. An important bit of a city, a harbor. Maybe I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go with a really close up from a ship, like this. Some ships back there. And then I really should, yeah, that's definitely a better workflow. I should start sort of with the composition that I want, with the lines, with the perspective lines and stuff like that. I think that's a really important lesson here to learn. Sort of see like I want this perspective to be like that, this line to go down like so, and then I want the ones down here to go up, and all that good stuff. I think I want to have a little bit more darker blue water in here, just to get a little bit more interesting. Because now the paintings are all a little bit, I definitely want to darken them later. It's just sort of a little bit washed out. Is that the correct thing to say? They're quite light. So we're gonna try to make this one immediately a little bit darker. So I'm also sort of referencing this from an image. This is not from a medieval harbor image. It's just a little fishing boat. It's laying on a dock. But it's a real nice image. Sort of start this this image on. Because we can easily transform that into a somewhat bigger boat. Little thing here. More like a medieval ship thingy. Yeah, oops. As you can see, my workflow starts to loosen and loosen and loosen each with each sort of next painting, and I'm really liking it. I'm really sort of getting in the flow when with this. So I'm really happy with how this turns out so far. I'm gonna save all the wet edged brushes, sort of a new brush type. Not sure if that was an improvement, but hey, got some stuff to work with now. Can sort of separate that from that background a little bit better and separate that. Fillers going, and I think it's time to start with the somewhat smaller brush. And we definitely want some stuff here and there. Let's say that's dangling down here, and maybe some nets and stuff like that. Definitely need to work on this ship here. Want, I think we want some brighter sunlit spots. Yeah, we definitely want those. Back here as well. And I should keep reminding. I need to keep reminding myself to also pick the lower opacity settings with my brush, because they really help sort of layering image. Yeah, I'm gonna go with some clouds. I'm definitely feeling like sort of improving with each a little piece, especially the last one. I'm feeling very happy because it has a nice flow to it, and for some reason it paints. When you're painting as a good flow to it, it's so much easier to paint on it because the brush strokes flow really nice, and it looks really loose and a lot more dynamic, I feel, than the top two, and it reinforces that effect because it's more dynamic. You can use more dynamic brush strokes, and you can be a little bit rough, and it still feels good. I'm really happy with that. Really, really digging that. So yeah, a little bit of reflection. keep hitting the wrong button. It should be, that's always when I'm in a sort of in a hurry, and especially when I'm really painting really fast, and it happens a lot more often. I press Alt C, then stuff happens. Of course, we're gonna have to do a masked. So like there and like there. Stuff hanging back there, and it's probably some people walking. Yeah, this is definitely a scene that I can see myself finishing. It's so feels so much more dynamic than the ones we did so far. So I'm not sure what I want to do with that background there. But it feels complete, even though it's really rough. It already feels like you can already really see what's going on, and I don't know, it feels a lot better than the ones I did first. So yeah, I'm really happy with the last one. Um, we hit the hour mark on the stream, so that means I'm going on a short break. I will be right back, and after the break, we'll do three more. Sorry. We'll do the bakery from the outside, the inside, and I don't know, something else. But yeah, I'm really a fan of the last one because of the sort of the dynamic that it has compared to the top two. Sort of the confidence that you're building, and then it sort of all comes together. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a short break. I'm gonna grab myself a coffee, and we will be right back with more. Don't go anywhere. Hello, I am back. Time for some new stuff. So we want to do an exterior of the bakery. And then we want to do a little interior. So, gonna see what we can do. I kind of want to have a sort of a dynamic perspective. Make it a little bit more dynamic, more like, let's see. Let's just grab the big old brush again. And sort of get going. I kind of want to sort of add the same perspective like I did with the harbor. Make it a little bit more dramatic. Because I think the first two are not things can have an interesting subject matter, but things can also have a boring subject matter, but still really look cool. And I think it's mostly because of the way you sort of present it. So we're gonna present this in a real. This is maybe a little bit too strong. So let's turn it down a little bit, the angle. Still, you want to quite a strong angle on this one. And I think I want to, yeah, I definitely want this, this yellow from the ship as well. Sort of sun is hitting the street there. Sun is hitting parts of the roof. Of that roof as well. Things like that. Really, really loose here. But the last one that we did, the one here in the corner, was where we started really loose as well. We sort of started quite stiff with the first two. So now we want to try to be as loose as possible, while of course being in control. That's really important. We want to be loose but in control, and that's possible, of course. A little bit more. A little bit more sun on the road. Need to make sure that this is straight. There we go. And then I think I also want some more bluish colors. Want a little bit of overhang for the top part, so you have a nice sort of maybe a little balcony section. Not sure what I'm gonna do with this part here, but let's see. A little sign there, nice little thing, addition. There's probably some sort of a thing that they can get their stuff to the attic. or some sort of a device to get the goods up. So they store it in the attic, the flour and stuff. I don't know if that makes sense, but we want some. Still not sure whether it's a stone building or a wooden building. We can change that however we want, of course. Maybe there's a little maybe people can eat there. I know it's a medieval bakery, but why not? Why aren't there little isn't there a little place for people to sit down and enjoy some bread? It's sort of a tavern slash bakery type thing. Not necessarily a tavern because you can sleep in a tavern, but just like you have now, there's a little lunchroom type thing. Maybe not really totally medieval, but hey, this is fantasy, so we can do whatever we want. So, if we want, we can make the. I want some color in this, but I'm not sure what. Maybe some reds. We can make red to have some variation because I feel like we need more color in this. And I'm looking at the images. It's all a lot of brown, a bit of yellow, white. I kind of want this to stand out a little bit more. Maybe there's a blue sign. Maybe it has blue things, and just so that it stands out a little bit from your default little medieval housing. Still not sure what I'm gonna do with this whole section here. I probably need to figure something out for that. Usually, it's just a bunch of houses next to each other like this, but I want them to be interesting enough to look at, of course. Definitely struggling more with sort of the houses than with the harbor for some reason. You'd think that the housing is quite easy, is sort of really straightforward. But the problem is because it's really straightforward, it's not necessarily always very interesting to look at. While the ship oh, what was I talking about? Yeah, the ships and shapes and stuff like that. Well, the ships have sort of interesting shapes from themselves. So it may be a little bit easier to make that interesting. I don't know. It's sort of a little bit of a struggle. I struggle with it quite a lot to work with to make it interesting. I'm gonna go and get rid of a lot of this. I want this to be sort of a somewhat bigger house, and then there's gonna be another one right here, something like that. But because yeah, to figure out how we're gonna do that, like so, and this is, and that's probably going like that. Ooh, perspective. It's so nice. It can be really nice. It is a really good tool to help you build a painting. I feel like I should just adjust this one to not be that dramatic. But now it's more like a sort of a standalone home thingy, which could be okay. More like more separated from the rest on a little square thingy. Which could be nice. See, let's try to get this right, because it doesn't feel right at all now. As you can see, I struggle a lot more with housing and making that interesting than I do with the harbor. Maybe it's because of the viewpoint that I choose. Maybe we should just go like this. That might be more interesting. Um, I don't know. It's just um. I'm not really getting the feel that I want from it. So yeah, that's definitely a shame, to say the least. Um, but it is what it is. I'm gonna sort of try to analyze it later after the stream, and gonna try to figure out what I can do. It's basically this. This is really just gonna try over. I'm just gonna try again. I'm gonna grab this brush. Just gonna try again to make this more dynamic. So there's the door. Some I don't know, a little window where you can check all the nice little cookies they have. A little bit of blue next to it. There's this little red things, so you can sit there and enjoy your meal. And it's gonna be repeated in here. And I think I'm gonna go straight to my my other brush here. just because I think it's a little bit better. Just gonna draw this sort of more. I want this to flow all the way back here. So maybe there's a sort of a maybe the neighbors sell wine or whatever. Little sign there. Some blue sky here. Look at this little area. Away is a little bit lighter. Sign there a little. I think I want to. I will redo those later. Maybe the characters are sort of walking down there, sort of checking out the bakery. There it is. A little bit more dramatic, but still, it's not. Ah, crap. I'm sorry, I have to cut the stream here because I spilled my coffee.